Good morning, everyone. As the sun rises over cities across the nation, it brings with it not just a new day, but a new challenge, one that will test our resilience and preparedness. Today is June 22, 2025, and meteorologists are sounding the alarm. A massive, relentless heat wave is building across much of the United States, stretching from coast to coast and affecting millions of Americans. This isn't your average summer heat. These are potentially record-shattering temperatures, the kind that rewrite the history books and push our cities and communities to their limits. Forecasters warn that this extreme heat could linger for days, making it one of the most significant weather events of the year. Prolonged, intense heat like this can be dangerous if we're not prepared. It's not just uncomfortable, it can be life-threatening, especially for the elderly, young children, and those with health conditions. Staying informed and taking precautions is more important than ever. So, what's happening in our atmosphere? A phenomenon known as a heat dome is at play. Imagine a giant invisible lid trapping hot air over the region, baking everything beneath it day after day. This dome prevents cooler air from moving in, causing temperatures to climb higher and higher. Tens of millions of people from the Great Plains all the way to the East Coast are in the direct path of this heat wave. Cities large and small, rural communities and suburbs alike will all feel the impact. Temperatures are expected to soar well into the 90s and even the 100s in many areas. And when you factor in the humidity, it'll feel even hotter, sometimes dangerously so. The heat index, which measures how hot it feels to the human body, will reach levels that can cause heat exhaustion or worse in a matter of minutes. The National Weather Service has issued widespread heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. These alerts are not just suggestions, they are urgent calls to action. Ignoring them can put lives at risk, so it's crucial to pay attention and follow official guidance. This kind of extreme weather can strain our power grids, leading to possible outages as air conditioners run non-stop. It can disrupt daily routines, delay transportation, and most importantly, threaten the health and safety of our most vulnerable neighbors. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down which cities and regions will be hit hardest, explain what the heat index really means for you and your family, and explore why these extreme heat events are becoming more common in recent years. Most importantly, we'll share practical, easy-to-follow advice to help you stay cool, hydrated, and safe during this dangerous heat wave. From simple steps at home to community resources, we've got you covered. Extreme weather is a challenge that affects us all, but it's also an opportunity to come together as a community. Whether it's checking on a neighbor, volunteering at a cooling center, or simply sharing information, we all have a role to play. Let's get started and face this heat wave together. Let's take a closer look at where this relentless heat wave is set to strike the hardest, and what that means for millions of people across the country. Across the nation, temperatures are climbing to dangerous levels, but some areas will be hit especially hard. Let's break down the regions and cities most at risk. The Midwest is right at the center of this event, the bullseye, if you will. Here, the heat is not only intense but also persistent, with the sweltering air mass expanding eastward as the days go by. Major cities like Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis are preparing for a prolonged stretch of days where highs soar into the upper 90s. Factor in the humidity, and it will feel even more oppressive. Heat indices could easily top 100 degrees, making outdoor activities risky. As the week progresses, the heat dome will gradually shift toward the East Coast. Cities such as Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Columbus will feel the brunt first, followed by major metropolitan areas like Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and even Boston. No one along this corridor will be spared from the extreme conditions. This isn't just a big city problem. Small towns and rural communities are also in the crosshairs, with local infrastructure and resources often stretched thin during such events. One of the most dangerous aspects of this heat wave is its duration. We're looking at 5 to 7 consecutive days of extreme heat, with little to no relief even after the sun goes down. Overnight, temperatures will remain high, making it difficult for people, especially the elderly and vulnerable, to cool down and recover. If you live anywhere from the Central Plains all the way to the I-95 corridor, now is the time to take action. Stock up on water, check on neighbors, and make a plan for staying cool. Make sure you have reliable access to air conditioning, whether at home or at work, and don't hesitate to use it. If you don't have air conditioning, find out where your nearest cooling center is located. Many communities are opening public spaces to help residents stay safe. Don't wait until the heat becomes unbearable. Be proactive and plan ahead. The forecast leaves no doubt. The heat is coming, and it's coming fast. Let's all do our part to stay safe, look out for one another, and be ready for what's ahead. When we talk about heat waves, you'll often hear two important numbers mentioned: the air temperature and the heat index. These numbers are both crucial, but they tell us different things about the weather and how it affects our bodies. The air temperature is simply what the thermometer reads. It's the actual temperature of the air around us. But the heat index goes a step further. It tells us what the temperature actually feels like to our bodies, because it takes into account not just the air temperature, but also the humidity in the air. Why does humidity matter so much? When the air is humid, it's full of moisture, which makes it much harder for sweat to evaporate from your skin. Sweating is your body's natural way of cooling down, but if sweat can't evaporate, your body struggles to release heat. That's why a humid day can feel so much hotter and more uncomfortable than a dry one, even if the temperature is the same. For example, if the air temperature is 95 degrees Fahrenheit but the humidity is high, the heat index, or the feels-like temperature, can soar to 105 degrees Fahrenheit or even higher. This means your body is working much harder to stay cool, even if the thermometer doesn't show it. At these elevated heat index levels, your body is under significant stress. Prolonged exposure can quickly lead to heat-related illnesses like heat exhaustion and heat stroke, which are serious medical conditions. Even healthy people can be affected, especially if they're active outdoors. Heat stroke is a true medical emergency. It happens when your body can no longer regulate its temperature, causing your internal temperature to rise rapidly. Without immediate help, heat stroke can cause lasting damage to your organs or even be fatal. That's why the National Weather Service issues excessive heat warnings when the heat index is expected to reach 105 degrees Fahrenheit or higher for at least 2 hours. These warnings are meant to alert you to dangerous conditions so you can take action to protect yourself and those around you. Early warning signs of heat-related illness include dizziness, nausea, headaches, and feeling unusually tired or weak. These symptoms are your body's way of telling you it's struggling to cope with the heat. Don't ignore them. If you notice any of these symptoms, it's important to act quickly. Move to a cool or shaded place, drink plenty of water, and rest. Cooling your body down as soon as possible can prevent more serious problems. Always pay close attention to the heat index in your local weather forecast, not just the air temperature. The heat index is the number that truly matters for your health and safety during hot weather. Use the heat index to guide your decisions about outdoor activities, especially for children, the elderly, and anyone with health conditions. It's also a good reminder to check on neighbors and friends who might be more vulnerable to the heat. Understanding the heat index is the first and most important step in protecting yourself and your loved ones during extreme heat. Stay informed, respect the heat, and make smart choices to stay safe all summer long. What's causing this intense heat? It's a heat dome, a strong, stationary area of high pressure. High pressure sinks air, compressing and warming it, trapping hot, humid air at the surface. This oven effect is intensified by moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, making humidity oppressive. The jet stream is weak and far north, letting the heat dome linger. These patterns aren't new, but their intensity and duration are increasing. Urban areas suffer more due to the heat island effect. Buildings and pavement radiate heat all night, giving little relief. The consequences are complex, affecting health and infrastructure. We can't ignore the bigger picture. Our climate is warming, making extreme heat waves more frequent and intense. The baseline is hotter, so heat waves start from a higher point. According to the EPA, heat waves in major U.S. cities have tripled since the 1960s. The jet stream's changes, linked to Arctic warming, are causing weather systems to get stuck longer. This heat wave fits the pattern climate scientists have warned about. These events are becoming the new normal. We need both short-term preparedness and long-term resilience, more green spaces, better infrastructure, and action on climate. The weather of the past is not the weather of the future. We've seen the dangers of extreme heat already this year. In early summer 2024, heat waves across the South broke records and caused dozens of deaths. Phoenix set a record for most consecutive days above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, with over 600 heat-related fatalities in Maricopa County alone. These weren't just numbers, they were people workers, the elderly, the homeless. The Texas power grid was pushed to its limit, raising fears of blackouts. These events showed the importance of emergency plans, cooling centers, and clear public messaging. Preparation and community support made a difference. The lessons from 2024 are clear. Take every warning seriously. The heat forecasted for the Midwest and East Coast is just as intense. Let's act now to protect our communities. Not everyone faces the same risk in a heat wave. Seniors, young children, and pregnant women are especially vulnerable. Their bodies struggle to regulate temperature. People with chronic illnesses or disabilities, and those on certain medications, are also at higher risk. Outdoor workers and people experiencing homelessness face direct exposure and limited access to cool spaces. Employers must provide water, rest, and shade. Community support, checking on neighbors, sharing resources, and opening cooling centers can save lives. Extreme heat is a public health emergency for the most vulnerable. Let's look out for each other. Here's what you can do to stay safe. Hydrate. Drink water regularly, even if you're not thirsty. Avoid sugary drinks, caffeine, and alcohol. Adjust your schedule. Avoid strenuous activity between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you must be outside, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, a hat, and sunglasses. Take frequent breaks in the shade or indoors. If you don't have air conditioning, spend time in public places with AC, libraries, malls, or cooling centers. Take cool showers or baths to lower your body temperature. Most importantly, check on relatives, friends, and neighbors, especially those who are elderly or have health conditions. Ask if they need help getting to a cooling center. A simple call or visit can make all the difference. Don't be shy about using community resources. They're there for you. Heat waves can be isolating, but community support saves lives. We're all in this together. Stay cool, stay safe. This is a serious weather event. Dangerous heat and humidity are on the way for millions. We know which cities are at risk, what the heat index means, and how this fits into a warming climate. The good news: heat-related illnesses and deaths are almost entirely preventable. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay informed. Listen to local officials and heat warnings, they're there for your safety. Weather like this reminds us we're all connected. Check on neighbors, share resources, and build a culture of preparedness. We'll keep you updated as this heat wave unfolds. Take care of yourself and your community. Together, we'll get through this.